Thanks to Exter for sponsoring this video. iPhone 14 versus iPhone 14 Pro. Which of the new iPhones is best for you? The September Apple event just wrapped up, and we finally have brand new iPhones, new Apple Watches, even new AirPods. Lots of exciting stuff here we've got to talk about. But also, we've got some big questions. Is the iPhone 14 actually worth it? Should you get the iPhone 14? Should you go iPhone 14 Pro? What are the big features you need to know about, and what did Apple say that you might have missed during the event? So in this video, let's break down the biggest features you need to know about the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Pro. Let's talk highlights, let's talk lowlights, let's talk new features, and figure out if the new iPhone 14 is right for you, and if so, which model? Should you upgrade this year? Should you wait another year? Trust me, this year you do not want to make a mistake, so let me tell you everything you need to know. So after so many leaks and rumors and months of anticipation, the iPhone 14 is finally here, and we've got 4 models to choose from this year in 2022. We've got the iPhone 14, the larger iPhone 14 Plus, the iPhone 14 Pro, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And we will do a deep dive on all these different models, but before I go any further, the first big thing you need to know about the iPhone 14 is that a lot of the big features this year, a lot of sort of the higher end, flashy flagship features, are just reserved for the higher end, more expensive flagship iPhones. Only the 14 Pro and Pro Max are gonna get a lot of the big upgrades this year. For example, one of those first new features that is only on the 14 Pro and the Pro Max is the new notch, or the new cutout, or whatever we're gonna call it now. If you want this pill-shaped cutout on your iPhone, you're only gonna find that on the Pro end models. And yeah, the rumors were true. Apple was able to work their magic, and they were able to shrink down the notch system significantly on the 14 Pro to now this little pill-shaped cutout that's right near the top center of the display. Apple's actually now calling this the Dynamic Island. Interesting name, but there's a lot of cool stuff this new cutout can do. It can actually adapt to different events and notifications that happen in real time on your iPhone 14 Pro. It's sort of hard to explain, but check out the visuals here. Looks pretty cool, and I cannot wait to actually test this in action. And I know this new look is certainly not for everyone, and we've only just now seen this officially from Apple, but in the brief amount of time that we saw this during the presentation, it does look more immersive. It looks like you can really enjoy the content on your display a little bit more, whether you're in an app or even on the home screen or watching a video. It looks like that little bit of the notch that has been removed does make the content a bit more immersive, and you've also got a little bit more screen real estate to work with near the top of the iPhone. And I'm gonna have a lot of questions for you guys in this video, but first off, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this? Does this look better than the double hole punch system that was rumored for months and months? Do you prefer the regular notch, or does this new pill-shaped cutout look best? Let me know your thoughts on this new cutout down below. Now for the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus, that notch is gonna be basically the same that we had last year with the 13 and 13 mini, so no change there on that notch. Next up, let's talk screen, because there are some big similarities and some big differences you need to be aware of. So Apple has now unified the iPhone lineup where you have 2 different screen size options, and you can either go Pro with those options or go sort of more standard. So for example, you've got the 6.1-inch iPhone 14, the 6.7-inch iPhone 14 Plus, the 6.1-inch iPhone 14 Pro, and the 6.7-inch iPhone 14 Pro Max. So if you want a smaller, more handheld phone like 6.1, then you can go with the Pro or regular 14, and if you want that larger screen experience, you can go with the Plus or the Max, depending on the features that you want to utilize on your new iPhone. And whether you go iPhone 14 or all the way up to the 14 Pro Max or somewhere in between, all of the iPhone 14s are going to have beautiful, vibrant, bright, colorful OLED panels. They're all going to look fantastic, but as you would probably guess, some of the big higher-end Pro features are reserved just for the 14 Pro and Pro Max. One of the big ones is ProMotion. As we expected, the regular 14 models are locked just at 60 Hz, while the 14 Pro and Pro Max will have that super smooth, sort of buttery smooth action with 120 Hz that Apple is using in their ProMotion tech. Another big feature only on the 14 Pros is this new always-on display functionality. Basically how this works is that the iPhone 14 Pro models can have a very low refresh rate, basically bringing it down to almost nothing, so they can still refresh, but it's going to save on battery life, and the display is going to be very dim and sort of go in this sort of low contrast state that's very dim, but still allows you to see the time in your incoming notifications if you've got your phone sitting on a table, for example. Then the cool thing is that you've got this always on display mode, but then you pick up your phone, actually use it, the display sort of pops locks to life, your lock screen really pops up with colors and cool animations, and everything sort of comes to the forefront so you can see it and use your phone like normal. Not a huge deal to many people out there, and I know, always on displays have been on Android phones for a while now, for years and years, but it is for the first time coming to the iPhone only on these Pro models. Now, before we continue with more of the September event madness, let's take a break for just a second because I want to show off to you guys my new wallet. This thing is super sleek, it's slim, it is super high quality, it's got an AirTag holder on the back and got a couple of tricks up its sleeves. I love this thing. It's a great wallet, and of course it is made by this video's sponsor, Exter. And if you haven't heard of Exter before, let me introduce you to an amazing company that is in the business of trying to make your daily life easier with an excellent collection of super high quality wallets, bags, cases, and other really premium and versatile accessories. This is actually from Exter's Recycle collection, and this is made from vegan leather from car windshields, if you can believe it. It is super high quality, it's super premium, and I love this wallet for so many reasons. One of the big reasons for me is this right here. It's literally that simple and easy to get access to your cards. You take out the one you need, you put this down. I've got some room here for cash, comes in 3 different colors, and also can hold up to 12 cards inside. And Extra wallets also come in a variety of different form factors and materials as well you can choose from, like the classic collection here that is beautiful, made from environmentally friendly certified vegan leather, and also other options here like carbon fiber and aluminum. No matter which combo you go with, it's gonna look and feel fantastic. And Extra is bringing a high-tech component to these wallets with this solar-powered tracker accessory. It's the size of a credit card, it utilizes a worldwide lost and found network, and 3 hours of solar charge is gonna give it a battery life of 2 full months. And not only is Extra making some incredible products, but they've also got some great limited time deals happening right now as well. If you click the link down below in the description and you use code TAC at checkout, you can save up to 25% off from right now until September 21st. Again, limited time deal. Again, hit that link down below to learn more. Use code TAC at checkout to take advantage of some really awesome savings. And again, a huge thanks to Extra for sponsoring this video. All right, next up, let's talk cameras, because this is a really big subject here we've got to cover. And again, one of the big reasons you're gonna want to spend the money and go with the 14 Pro or Pro Max, because those phones have an exclusive feature that is not on the regular iPhone 14s, and that is this all new, vastly improved main camera that finally made the jump from 12 megapixels all the way up to a 48 megapixel main camera. That new sensor is 65% bigger than that on the 13 Pro, and it's gonna give you a lot better low light performance, actually a lot of better improved low light performance across all the lenses, sort of across the board, cinematic video up to 4K 30, and overall a better improved sensor that's gonna allow you to take better photos and better videos on your Pro iPhone. Also a new 2x telephoto option as well, so now you have 4 sort of preset focal lengths to choose from on your Pro iPhone. Putting that to the side for a moment, the regular iPhone 14 models did get some camera upgrades as well, but they weren't nearly as significant as that. The 14 models are packing a slightly improved main camera, still 12 megapixels, but they do have a larger sensor and better low light performance. You also get an update to the selfie camera here as well. It now includes autofocus and also is going to allow more light into that sensor for better low light performance on the front as well. And as for internals, the rumors were pretty much spot on here. The 14 Pro and Pro Max are going to have the new Apple A16 Bionic processor, which is more advanced, going to be more efficient, more powerful, all that stuff. You sort of get the idea. They're making incremental improvements there. And the 14 and 14 Plus, those phones are going to have last year's A15 processor, though this is going to be slightly tweaked and slightly better than what was in the 13 and 13 mini. So you're basically getting a little bit of a better chip, but you're still getting A15 in the 14, while the 14 Pros are going to have the A16. So that's a big deal to you. You might just want to go Pro. Now, one of the big iPhone rumors this year that we saw last year that continued over this year was this satellite connectivity feature. The idea that you could be out in a remote part of the world and not have cell service, but you could still send a text or make a call thanks to this satellite connectivity feature built into the iPhone 14. This was a big rumor for a while, and now we can finally answer, did this make the cut? Yes, it did. Apple is calling this emergency SOS via satellite, and it's really interesting. So unlike the rumors, this won't allow you to place a call, but you can send a limited text. It could take about 15 seconds up to a few minutes, depending on how covered the area is that you're in, and it will allow you to communicate with first responders and emergency personnel over the power of satellites. Essentially, if you're in an emergency situation, Apple will have you fill out sort of this questionnaire and then send a limited text, and then they will connect you to the appropriate sort of ground response team nearest your your location. Okay, so now you know what is included and what's not included with basically all of the different iPhone models, but the last piece of info we've got to talk about, really what's going to sway you one way or the other, is of course price. What are the iPhone 14 models priced at this year? Because things were a little crazy in the rumor mill, and here's where sort of things settled. The iPhone 14 and 14 Plus are coming in 5 colors: Midnight, Starlight, Blue, Purple, and Red. And pricing is interesting: $799 for the 14, $899 for the Plus. You can pre-order these September 9th, but the 14 is gonna launch on the 16th, while the larger Plus won't launch until later on October 7th. The 14 Pro models are coming in 4 colors: Space Black, Silver, Gold, and this new Deep Purple. And pricing is interesting. Actually, no price increase here. Same prices, $999 for the 14 Pro, $1099 for the 14 Pro Max, up to 1 terabyte if you want to go all the way up in storage. You can pre-order this Friday, September 9th, and they're going to be launching next Friday, September 16th. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we did get some other new products at this event. We got the new Series 8 lineup, which looks very similar to the Series 7, and also new AirPods Pro are finally here as well with some nice improvements and features. I don't know if these are really must-have. With the Apple Watch, people are very split on whether or not they need to upgrade every single year, and with AirPods Pro, nice new features with these new models, but I'm not sure if they're like a day one you've got to have them, but they did announce them, and we'll have more coverage on those different products soon here on the channel, so now would be a good time to subscribe to the Apple Circle if you haven't already. Take a hint from the pillow back there and subscribe. But of course, the big question we've got to answer is iPhone 14 versus iPhone 14 Pro. Which model should you get? And should you even bother spending the money and upgrading this year? Or would you be better off just holding on to the iPhone you've got right now, or waiting, dare I say, until the iPhone 15? To make things simple, let me say this. If you are Apple obsessed like I am, and you love to have the latest and greatest iPhone with all the best features and all the bells and whistles, then yes, I give you my blessing, my permission. Go and pre-order an iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max, you'll be happy, and you get the latest and greatest iPhone. And with that out of the way, now let's talk a little bit more sensibly. Should you upgrade to any of the new iPhones this year? Now, regardless of the iPhone model you've got, if camera is really important to you, if you want to take the best photos and best videos that you can on your phone, if this is like your main camera and you really value the camera system to have the most versatility and the most megapixels and the best looking photos and videos, then that might be reason enough to upgrade to the 14 Pro or Pro Max, because that's where you're going to get all the benefits of that upgraded camera system. On one hand, if you've got an older iPhone, maybe you've got a 10 or a 10S or an 11, if you're ready for an iPhone upgrade, I'll give you my permission as well to get the 14 or any of the 14 models. You'll be very happy, and usually 3, 4, 5 generations, that's a good time to make the switch. If you've got a 12 or a 13, depending on the model you're looking at, I'm not sure if it's going to be worth it, because especially on the lower end, quote unquote, lower end 14 models, there's not a lot of huge upgrades there to really take advantage of. And I will say, if you're someone who wants a larger screen iPhone experience, but you don't need a Pro Max, then the 14 Plus makes a whole lot of sense. This looks like a great phone, 6.7-inch OLED display. Now, in terms of if you should wait, I know I'm gonna catch some heat in the comments for even saying this, but we have started to hear a little bit about the iPhone 15, and as of what we know right now, there's a couple of big changes that could be coming. We could see a major redesign with the iPhone 15. The iPhone 15, at least some models, might be getting USB-C. We might be getting a better telephoto lens on the 15 Pros. That's about what we know right now, but in terms of if you should wait or not, that really depends on your current situation. If you're happy with the iPhone you've got right now and none of these 14 features are swaying you, then by all means, wait it out and wait for another year and you should be happy, and then you sort of have the option to either buy a 14 at a discount or go with the 15. But if you really are swayed by those features, you really care about the camera, you really want the versatility of the always-on display and the new satellite connectivity, if that's what really matters to you, then buy one of the new iPhone 14 models. You shouldn't be disappointed and you should be very happy. If you've got a good iPhone right now that's still working, this year just might not be the year to upgrade unless you're really set on paying the price and getting the features of the 14 Pro or 14 Pro Max. But as always, guys, I want to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the September Apple event? Were you impressed by the 14 announcements? Were you disappointed? Are you going to upgrade? Which models should you go with? And if someone was to ask you, hey, should I upgrade this year? What advice would you give them? Is this phone worth the upgrade? And if so, what model would you recommend? Let me know your thoughts down below on Apple's announcements. We can discuss. Let's talk Apple Watch. Let's talk AirPods. Let's talk about all this new stuff down below in the comments. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Can I talk? I appreciate you for watching. Sorry, it's been a long day. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.